And thinking through kind of what you need to be doing or how you should approach at least your 4 years in college, I'd say a couple things, right? I think number one thing you should be doing is talking to as many people as possible. And it's not necessarily even, talking to people who are already working, but talk to people who are like senior to you. So, if you're a junior or sophomore here, then talk to some of the seniors who've actually gone through their, investment banking internships or, whatever they decide to do. Talk to them about, why they made the decision they did, how they succeeded, and, ultimately what they'd recommend that you do to, succeed in your role. Because the one thing I will say is, when it comes time for recruiting, right? Recruiting ends up being a very localized thing where, yes, they're also looking at, your general characteristics, how you express yourself, your experiences in college, but you're also being comped against other people at your university. And, how to succeed at every university is slightly different, right? Some people, because, when you think about recruiters, they take into account your context. So, talk to people, what organizations did they join? What kind of, case competitions were they doing? What kind of internships did they have access to and they took advantage of? And, I think that'll get you into a good place in terms of thinking through how you want to approach your next few years. And, once you've kind of done all of that, or, as you're doing all of that, kind of just get the baseline technicals out of the way, right? Like the bar, especially given how early recruiting is now, isn't necessarily high for investment banking roles in terms of, do I need to know how to properly build out a DCF, or, do I need to know every last detail of, how a merger model works? It's not that, right? Like what they're trying to see is, do you just have the kind of the raw pieces of knowledge that, or the raw horsepower to be able to do the job when you get to a banking role? So just, understand what it's like. I think one of the things that I did that I found really helpful, and I kind of tell everybody, there's a book that most people end up reading called Investment Banking, like by Rosenbaum and Pearl. It's like incredibly dry, but I would take the time to actually go through it because I think it helps a lot. And I think that book, and there's another one called Case in Point, that's more consulting oriented, but I think it gives you a good mindset in terms of how to think through, competitive dynamics and think through situations. Focus on that. And, once you've done kind of the combination of those two or three things, I think you'll be golden.